The price of Bitcoin is currently $28,000 and the CME gap right now, excuse my very, very burnt face. I thought that going for a walk on the beach earlier would be a good idea without sun cream because it wasn't sunny. Turns out it was. Anyway, it's interesting because we've got a CME gap currently sitting at $28,735. This is a CME Group exchange. And you can see here, $28,740, $28,735. That is where the CME gap currently sits, which is approximately $700 below where the current price of Bitcoin sits. So I maintain my long position. My long position currently is not sat in a profit. It's not. I mean, I'm no point lying. Why hide this stuff? It's nothing to be ashamed of. I've got a trade open. I opened it probably potentially a little bit too early. It's $13,000 in a loss. Now, admittedly, that is a pretty huge trade. It's a $1.6 million long position from 28,200. Now, I expect that this CME gap is going to close. If the CME gap doesn't close, I'll be very quick to close this trade because it could get very expensive very, very quickly. So that's also important to bear in mind. I'm not going to be backing this trade and adding more liquidity to it. If I am wrong on this occasion, I'll take the loss. Now, in terms of what I am expecting to come from this, I expect that CME gap's going to close. I think there's a lot of people looking to short Bitcoin right now. We can see that from the funding rate being below 0.01. That's generally where the funding rate sits. It's not currently, it's below that level, meaning that short interest is higher than generally it normally is. Now, looking at the way that Bitcoin is trading right now, at the point of which I close my trade is the point of which we close an hourly candle below $27,850. Below $28,750. $27,850, we would expect to drop all the way back down to here, which would be approximately $27,500. And at that point, then things are looking a little bit rough, like we might actually break to the downside. But this is how Bitcoin's trading on the kind of mid-term. If we look at a slightly longer perspective, we do have a big stalk to the upside and a bull flag outwards. There's no clear reason as to why we should be bearish on Bitcoin right now. From my perspective, Bitcoin is in a very good place in terms of, should I buy it? Should I not buy it? Yes, I believe that the correct decision is, of course, to be buying Bitcoin at this moment in time. Now, other things to be looking at, of course, Ethereum versus Bitcoin, which continues its loop around. It's been forever as this. We're waiting for this trade to pay off, but at some point it will do. Now, Ethereum versus Bitcoin has caused, because the price has not been doing anything, basically Ethereum's price has been replicating Bitcoin's price, but it's also important to point out that Ethereum currently finds itself sat on this level of support. Now, this is a long-term level of support. If we zoom out on the price chart for Ethereum and reset the scale to auto there, you're basically able to see that this is a very long-term level of support. It's resistance turn support. It dates all the way back to the FTX crash. Ironically, I am here in the Bahamas and we're currently sat on the FTX support line. It's interesting. Now, the other things to point out, of course, about the price of Ethereum right now, yes, it looks pretty bullish. I'm not long on Ethereum. I'm long on Bitcoin because I believe that Bitcoin is more likely to rise in price than Ethereum. The DXY is already open for trading today. I don't understand why, because it is a Sunday, but the DXY is currently trading, and over the past few hours, the DXY has been rallying. That's why Bitcoin's price has been falling. But I expect that the DXY is going to get smacked down pretty hard when markets open tomorrow morning. When markets open tomorrow morning, we've got a lot of different stories to contend with. The key one being, this is what people think is happening. UBS sees a rally in these bank stocks ahead of the banking crisis appearing to be contained. Now, that's pretty important wording, essentially, because it goes directly in contradiction from what the World Economic Forum is currently saying that recession risks are reignited by banking crisis. World Bank, basically what I believe is happening right now, you don't need to read the whole thing out, but what I believe is happening right now is I think that the banks are preemptively calling this whole crash off because, of course, they want to. But what you can't stop is a crash from happening. If the crash is going to happen, it's going to happen because people are going to withdraw. Confidence takes a long time to decrease, but banking confidence is very low right now because we all know that banks are vultures and they don't really offer anything of great value other than taking your money and then loaning it out to other people. When people understand that interest rates at the moment are not higher than inflation, they continually lose money from having it in the bank, they're more likely to invest it in things like Bitcoin. Hence why I'm bullish on the price of Bitcoin right now. What is the price of Bitcoin doing on BYBIT? Yeah, we're dropping to the downside, but we could be forming a potential inverse head and shoulders at this moment in time. I believe it's too early to call. In the UK right now, one more hour and it's 12 o'clock. which means that normally that's when the markets would generally then start resetting and pumping back to the upside. So from my perspective, one more hour and we'll see if I'm correct or not. Otherwise, the support levels of which to watch on the price of Bitcoin would be the support level here at $27,850. On that kind of level of support there, we lose that level of support, then we drop back down to the lower level of support, which is 27,500. I'll be longing 27,500 with very tight stops that I'll be placing around 27,200 because if we lose 27,200, we drop all the way back down to about $25,000. And I see a lot of people in crypto right now saying, oh, it's going to drop down to 25K. It's going to drop down to 25K, and it might. It might. I just think there's probably one more pump left in this to squeeze out those short positions, because there's been a huge amount of people on these decentralized derivative exchanges recently opening up hugely leveraged short positions. Now, the issue with that is we can all see those hugely leveraged short positions because they're on decentralized exchanges. And you know what that means? It means that they're probably going to get liquidated. Now, a lot of the liquidation points, especially on GMX, a lot of the liquidation points for these trades are currently sat around $31,500. So, boom, I've got somebody at the door. Solved it. Now, on the topic of these GMX short positions that people currently have, because they are viewable, because they are seeable, it's likely that they're going to get liquidated. It is one of the flaws in these decentralized derivative trading platforms, being that if you have a decentralized derivative trading platform, everybody else can see your trades. And if you are highly leveraging a trade, of course, it's not just like having a market maker. Everybody can see it, which means that those trades are more likely to get liquidated if they are highly leveraged, because there is profit to be made in liquidating other people's positions. Now, on the topic of banks finished the day by rallying on Friday. It'd be very telling to see what happens with the banks over the course of the next week. If the bank stocks start rising in price, we might have 2-3 weeks of Bitcoin kind of going sideways and downwards towards 25K. At the same time, during that period of time, you would expect some kind of altcoin season. If we're going to get an altcoin season, it's going to come during that period of time where banks are on the rally back to the upside and Bitcoin is stagnating and struggling with its narrative, because of course the strongest narrative for Bitcoin is all around banks crashing and Bitcoin being a great alternative to the banks. Now, on the topic of altcoins that I'm buying, again, I want to point out, buying more XDP, bought more XDP today. XDP's price recently, yeah, it looks a little bit sad, but it's been nicely consolidating in this range here between 20 Satoshis and 25 Satoshis. Currently sat at 24 Satoshis. The resistance in the charts is pretty minimal. No really big sell walls at all in the charts right now. So I am bullish on XDP, especially when I get back to England. And at the same time, another coin that I'm bullish on right now that, of course, is in a pretty good spot to be buying is Caps coin. Again, not financial advice, but Caps coin is currently bull penning outwards. You've got a big stalk upwards, big flag outwards, and essentially that looks pretty decent as far as I'm concerned right now. So overall, on the topic of Bitcoin, Bitcoin looks decent so long as it holds the support at $27,850. On the topic of Ethereum, Ethereum needs to hold the support. Where was the Ethereum support level at? Let me just double check that. Ethereum support is currently sat at $1,770. We lose 1,770. It's likely drop down into the low 1,700s again. Of course, that'd be a decent short position to be taking. But having said all of this, it's going to be an interesting week ahead. The CME gap is what I'm hoping plays out. And if the CME gap plays out, it means that come tomorrow morning, $28,735 is going to be the price of Bitcoin. So on that note, guys, thank you all very much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy it, slap a like on it. Thank you all very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. I forgot to ask for that. And also drop a like. I even forgot to ask for that. Do drop a like on today's video, especially if you're new. Drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. My name's Jordan. I make videos about cryptocurrency on the internet here every day. If you want to know more about cryptocurrency and trading on all that lot, click on this tutorial that you'll see somewhere on the screen right here. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.